What's up, Bassholes? The Basshole podcast is sponsored by BlueChew. That's right, BlueChew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in a chewable form. That's right, you chew it. We all like to chew on things. You know, they say there's nothing sexier than confidence, and, BlueChew can help give you the confidence where it counts. And let me tell you something, we've got a special deal for our listeners. You can try BlueChew absolutely free when you use our promo code Basshole at checkout. You just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code Basshole to receive your first month free. So visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we want to thank BlueChew for sponsoring the podcast. Now, let's meet some Bassholes.
What is it?
Podcasting from Basshole Studios in Hollywood, California.
Yo, what time is it?
You're listening to I'm a Basshole with Doug Bass. We've all been one.
He's an asshole.
So let's laugh about it. Now, here's your host, Doug Bass.
Welcome to the Basshole podcast. My name's Doug Bass. My guest today is David Fishoff. He's the creator of the legendary rock and roll fantasy camp that's been going since 1997, I believe, right? Long time. Among other things, you're a sports agent, an entrepreneur. You're responsible for... You've worked with some of the greatest rock and roll legends out there, I'd say.
I've been privileged.
Ringo Starr, the Monkees, Alice Cooper, Roger Daltrey, just to name a few. You're responsible for getting the Monkees back together. Is that true?
1986.
Yeah.
I brought them back together. 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
I was watching a TV show on one of my previous tours. I created these Happy Together tours at 3 o'clock in the morning. Up came a Monkees TV show. And that was the only show my parents let me watch from Hackensack, New Jersey.
Right.
My dad was a cantor, and they were strict with me. No lucha libre, no wrestling, and but the Monkees let me watch.
The Monkees are a great band, yeah. And Ringo Starr, I mean, legendary Beatle.
Legendary.
You know, that's pretty awesome.
I hope the Monkees get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame one day.
They're not in yet, which is amazing to me.
Yeah.
Some people are in there that probably don't deserve to be in.
A lot
there.
of hit songs.
Yeah. But you've been running the rock and roll fantasy camp since 1997. Obviously, it's a huge success. It's been covered all over the place, including an episode of The Simpsons that's kind of legendary, which is amazing. This idea of rock and roll fantasy camp really is intriguing, and it's found this following, and people love it. Coming from whether you play the guitar or dabble or you're a singer or whatever, you go for the weekend and you hang out with whatever bands are booked and you jam with them, right? There's a camp, 3-day camp, whatever.
It's a 4-day camp. We place you in a band with a touring rock star. So somebody like Rudy Sarzo, who's in Quiet Riot, Vinny Appice, who was in Black Sabbath and Dio.
Right.
They take the band for 4 days, and these people have never met before. And they come together. It's a band. They meet on Zoom like a week before. They come up with a list of songs, and then they get to play with the headliners.
Yeah.
And the upcoming camp we're doing in New York. I have Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick and Lou Graham from Foreigner. Mm-hmm. And then in October we have from Green Day, Mike Dirnt.
Yeah, and you do it all over. You do Vegas, New York,
Vegas,
LA.
Florida, LA, and now we're going to go to London.
I was just going to ask you can do worldwide. Yeah,
the movies in London. I just got an offer today to go to Israel with it.
That's awesome.
And for me, I didn't want to go on the tour on the road anymore. I know you're touring and everything like that. I did it my whole life.
Right.
And after a while, when you have a wife and two kids,
you get exhausted.
It's exhausting.
You're not a young chicken anymore.
Exactly. I've been to every shopping mall.
Right.
Everywhere. I've been to every store.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm sure it gets draining after a while.
It gets draining. So I decided I was going to create a camp where people would come to me, and I can give them an experience they can't get anywhere else.
True.
And I went to the rock stars to ask them if they would do it. And they were intrigued by it also. Not everyone.
Yeah. Who's the biggest name that you've tried to get that was like, no, that's not for me, for rock camp?
Wow. Clapton was one of the guys, I definitely went to him. But the guy who really turned me down in the beginning was the keyboard player for the Doors.
Okay.
And he hung up the phone on me. He said, I don't play with amateurs. Yeah, so he was an asshole.
He was an asshole, yeah. Well, that's what this is.
And then I had a problem with 99.9 of the rock stars that come to camp are amazing. They just want to get back. Roger Daltrey.
They want to get back, yeah.
They want to get back. the drummer from Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd.
He stayed for 4 days.
Yeah, he never left.
He wanted to play. But then I had an issue with David Crosby.
Oh, okay.
He just took my money and showed up, and I kept trying to call him. Said, David, let me go over what you got to do. Never returned my call. Just showed up.
He showed up like the day of.
The day of,
Yeah.
and said, I'm going to listen to people.
And that's it.
People said, yeah, he was an asshole.
Yeah.
And he's
Well,
known that way, but
And I'm sure you'll get that because it's like, these are rock stars, so some of them are probably.
But I picked the wrong one. They're all amazing. Well,
you're going to have someone that's like that in
Right.
the group. You know what I mean? That's
Right.
not going to flow with what the thing is about,
Right.
and they're going to do their own thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Have you-
But majority, everyone has been amazing.
Yeah,
They've really
amazing,
been.
yeah.
They give so much back.
And I'm guessing like there's a lot of rock stars that aren't, they have free time. They're not touring anymore.
They're not
as much
touring, so I
anymore.
do a lot of
this
the
is
camps.
something for them to kind of do,
Right.
give back, get involved or whatever. Then you have your rock stars that are obviously still touring, way too busy, like like a Springsteen or something. Someone that's
Right.
like no.
Yeah, he's not into to meet the people.
Right,
It's-
right,
You have
exactly.
to be someone that really wants to give back or meet people. Or a lot of them are on the AA program.
Yeah, of course.
12
Yeah,
steps, so they
recovery,
want to give
yeah.
back. A lot of them are involved in charity.
Right.
Like Roger Dolce's charity. That's his main thing is charity now. He
Yeah.
does the Who, but charity. So he comes to camp and he's met some amazing people who've come to his charity events. And Steven Tyler's met a guy with a private plane. Guy has a
Right.
private plane.
Yeah,
That's
can,
like carrying a big stick.
they
yeah.
can afford it. Yeah,
He can afford it.
yeah.
So he makes a lot of rock and roll friends.
For sure, yeah. So doing the rock camp all these years, at some point you go on Adam Carolla's show, right?
Correct.
And then and he's a fan of the rock camp. He's interviewing you about the success of it and everything. And then you guys come up with the idea of doing comedy fantasy camp.
Yeah, he turned to me and he said,
Yeah.
how do we do comedy fantasy camp? I've always thought of other camps, like DJ fantasy camp.
DJ
or,
fantasy camp.
I
yeah.
always, other things. But comedy would just be like the natural thing.
Yeah.
And so him and I talked about it. And it was his manager, Mike, is a great guy, Mike August.
yeah.
Yeah, Mike August, yeah.
Yeah.
So Mike, and they came to me and they said, we got Jay Leno. He wants to do it with us.
Right.
And so I said, that's fantasy.
That's
That's a fantasy.
That's
You get
fantasy,
Jay
right,
Leno
right.
in a room
Yeah.
and talking about comedy and let's get up. And then from there, I was in the bakery here on Beverly, and I bumped into Caroline Ray, and I said to her, and I told her what I was doing. She said, "I'd love to teach comedy. It'd be a dream for me.
Right.
So call me." And I called her, and then Carol Leifer got word through another guy that I was doing it, and she called. She said, she told my friend, have David call me.
Mm-hmm.
So I called Carol Leifer.
So you get all these people
Yeah.
that are on board to do this fantasy camp,
And writers.
and writers,
A lot
and,
of writers.
roast battle people, and all
Right.
all this stuff. So it comes together. You follow the same kind of format as the rock camp, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had to do a little different,
Yeah, a little
because I didn't have counselors and everything.
Right.
I wanted to give these people to learn.
Right.
Because how many times people they go to Emerson College, they go to different schools, and they learn.
Yeah.
My whole thing is I'm going to give you 4 days to hear from the best, the greatest who have achieved this goal. Ask them questions, learn from them, let them comment on your comedy,
Right.
go back
Right.
and forth, and give you that fantasy experience.
Now this thing is not cheap.
No, it's not cheap.
It's $3,500 for the camp, and
Yeah.
then you can do add-on packages like a VIP dinner for $1,000,
Well, it was a mentorship program.
mentorship program,
And then you could do, more people they kept asking for that. We want to be
Yeah.
mentored.
Yeah.
And then I had to rent the Roosevelt Hotel,
Right.
that comedy room there,
Yep.
and the stars, and we feed everybody.
Right.
We rent the Improv. We feed them at the Improv,
Yep.
and you spend a lot of money
It's a
advertising.
lot of money advertising,
marketing.
Sure, yeah,
It's
yeah.
a big risk.
It's a big risk, yeah. Now, a lot of these people that are coming to the comedy camp are from all over the country.
All over the country.
They're flying
Lawyer.
in from Florida, from wherever, to do this comedy fantasy camp weekend. Now, there's a mix of different levels of people, I would
Yeah.
say. You've done this camp twice, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the first one was in October, and then the second one was like February, March, or
Right.
whatever. The first time you do this camp, it's new. It's
Totally
it's
new.
the guinea pig. You know what you're doing at rock camp, obviously,
Right.
But like this is the guinea pig. Of
Almost
the
like
comedy.
I did the same thing the first time I did the rock camp too.
Yeah, yeah.
I brought a lot of guests in.
So these people that are coming in though, so they're dropping down, $3,000 to $5,000, whatever package they get. There's all different levels of comedians, I'm guessing, from
Right.
people that have never done it, never picked up a mic, to people that have dabbled in it, to intermediate people or writing comedy, that kind of thing.
Right.
Do you think? How do you think the first one went?
I thought it went great. You
Yeah?
know? I mean, we got great reviews in the Hollywood Reporter. A guy shows up to the Hollywood Reporter, and he's hanging out there the whole time.
Yeah.
In LA Magazine. You know, definitely, you see what works, what doesn't work.
Right.
I realize that, I advertise writers. I got the best writers.
Yeah.
Um,
But don't you think you got a lot of flack as well online from like Reddit and stuff like that? Like as far as like a lot of negative people. I'm sure there were people that had a positive experience for it.
well,
but there were also a lot of people that were like, this was a ripoff. It was a cash grab. It was unorganized. Like, they advertised, like a writing workshop and all this stuff that did not happen. It did not get delivered.
I agree with one thing. The writing, we did it. We could have done much more writing, and but yeah, I definitely
it seems
I
like
gave so many guests. I gave too many guests.
But there's more of like, it was more like a panel. Would you say? Like if
Yeah.
I'm paying $5,000 to go to comedy
Well,
fantasy
we went from
camp.
$3,000 to
Well,
$4,000,
if I
$5,000.
pay $3,500,
Okay.
right, and then I
Yeah.
get the VIP dinner,
Right.
the photo package is $500. I bring
Right.
my spouse, it's $900. That's adding up to a big chunk of change, not including lodging, not including
Airfare. Right.
the improv you have to pay for the show, right? Like drinks are not included, so people are dropping a lot of money for this thing.
This is a fantasy camp,
I understand it's a
Yeah.
fantasy camp, and yes, it is a fantasy camp.
and we advertise it up front. We tell you what it is,
Right.
And we don't.
The
tell
other
you-
thing-
we don't promise stardom.
No.
I've never done that in rock and roll.
Right.
And what I found were that people came to this camp thinking they're going to get discovered, they're going to get stardom.
Well, that's Hollywood. I mean,
but-
if you're selling that a little bit, it's a little bit of a like.
I never promise. It's one
Yeah.
thing. If you see my camps in 28 years, I never promise stardom. I promise you're going to meet these people. You're going to hear from these people. You're going to play at the Improv. You're going to play at the Whiskey A Go Go. And I try to give these people an amazing experience and listen, you're always going to get some people in rock camp. We don't, I don't have that now, but
No, I get it. There's
Yeah.
there's always a customer
first
that's
one.
there's always a customer that's not happy, especially for the
Right.
first one. Whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I'm also
when 50% come back to your next camp,
yeah.
then you know you've done something right.
Now you were also advertising apparently that there's 15 slots for this thing. 15 slots.
Never.
Rico said that he got an email saying the guy interviewed.
No,
that went
he
to this
read
camp.
the email wrong.
But you're putting it in a word where it was like 15 spots available.
Are left. There are 15 more spots
It said,
available.
I think it said 15 available.
No, it was 15 spots. We're going
The
to sell
verbiage
more.
might be a little confusing to people, don't you think?
No, not at all.
Like if I'm paying $5,000 and there's 15 slots, that sounds awesome to maybe work
Wait,
on my stuff with Jay
that's
Leno.
not
Carolla.
reality. 15
It's not
times
reality,
5
but a lot of these people
hotels.
showed
No.
up and then they get to the Roosevelt and there's like 70, 80 people.
Right.
And they're like,
and I
wow,
always
what
told,
the-
I told everyone that called, how many people are going to be there? Between 75 and 100. I said that to everybody.
Yeah.
Listen, you think those people with 70, they would all walked out if they saw that. I never promised 15.
Well, some of them wanted their money back, and there's no refunds, right? No
Never
refunds.
Well, hold on. Let's go
Yeah.
back. I never promised 15 people. I said there are 15 spots left. That's where I was going to cut it off. Never. If he reads an email says there's 15 spots and he already bought one, then there'll be I would advertise 14. Not true. How can I do it?
Here's
The
my
cost-
opinion. If you have 70 to 80 people for
Yeah.
this camp, how do you get anything done?
How do you get it done?
I mean, it seems like a lot. Like
Yeah.
the
Here's the
syllabus
schedule.
here. The syllabus here
Right,
says
it's
like,
syllabus.
all right, like there's an open mic, okay, from like
from 3:15 to 3:30.
how do you do an open mic in 15 minutes?
Hold on, we didn't.
With
wait a
70
minute. Hold
people.
on. Over 4 days.
Over 4
days.
It says here open mic. Open
mic, first-
11 a.m. to 11:15. Open mic.
Wait. I'm on Thursday.
All right. Well,
I did it-
I have partial syllabus.
Okay,
here,
well,
but
you
yeah.
get the whole thing.
Well,
Okay, let me
I
go.
didn't
with-
sign up for the camp. So.
Well, let's go. I sent it to you. 3:15 to 3:30 open mic. At nighttime from 9:30 to 10:30, 1 hour of an open mic. All you have to do is sign up, put your name on the list, and you did open mic. Now hold on, but let's discuss what this is. This is a fantasy camp. You want to perform. My goal is you're going to perform the final day at the Improv. You're
Right.
going to do your routine. But you're going to get a critic, and we had, and you saw we had
I saw
critiques.
like Adam Carolla
And?
and Alonzo Bowden.
Alonzo Bowden.
Yeah.
Alonzo wrote notes on everything. But open mic was, hey, you get a chance to get an open mic. That's what we did in between But that wasn't. That was for people who thought that they wanted to entertain.
Yeah.
But open mic, go perform at a comedy club. My whole thing was I wanted you to learn from Carolla. I wanted you to learn from Jay Leno. I wanted you to learn from Adam Carolla. That's really what I did. And then I gave you some real comics. Jay Moore performed, and Carolyn came to perform. But open mics, you don't need to pay that kind of money to go to an open mic.
What do you say as far as comparing it to the rock camp versus the comedy camp? Rock camp, great idea. Successful, obviously.
And it's more money.
Sounds fun. All right, more money.
More gear, more money.
These people coming in there, they at least play an instrument or kind of dabble in it, or they're a musician or a singer or a group, whatever. Like I get the idea going to the rock camp, like hanging out with the band. I play guitar. I can jam with Alice Cooper, whatever,
Right.
Comedy is such an individual experience.
Yes, it is.
And a lot of it is sitting there watching people and not doing it or whatever. Or
learning from the
down.
best.
But like it seems like it's so like congested, the schedule. And I get fantasy again, but like, why not bring some of these people to like an open mic, like to see what it's really?
So
like.
it is.
No, like a real open mic, not the one at the Roosevelt. That's
so. I
15
took them
minutes.
to a comedy club 2 nights. I took them to the improv.
Yeah.
And took them to the improv to see a show.
For a real show. But why don't you take them down the street to the hole in the wall comedy
They don't
mic?
need. Oh, hold on. You're looking at everything I didn't do. But look at the things I did do.
Yeah,
you don't
sure.
need me to go to an open mic. An open mic can go to any schmuck can go to an open mic. I can go to an open
But
mic
I think
and I don't
the
play
difference
comedy.
between the rock camp and comedy, it's an individual experience. These people have no experience with comedy, and then you're throwing them in.
Hold on. Some people have experience.
So that's where you should probably have different levels
So-
or audition people, don't you think?
No,
Because here's
I'm
the
not
thing.
in the audition business.
Here's the thing, though.
I'm not in that audition
There's a couple
business.
comedians that are taking this thing, whatever promos they see for it, that have been doing it a year or two or whatever.
But
and
let me tell you something.
they live here. They live here. So like, there's people mixed in from Florida that are trying to get away from their ex-wife or their wife or whatever for the for the weekend.
Doug, you
then
got
there's
it
the
wrong.
people. Then there's the people here.
If you
that
want to
are,
go here to a camp, go to Groundlings. Go to
Groundlings
so many.
is a historical school.
Right, go to a school. It's a fantasy camp,
Right.
but for people who want to get the fantasy to meet meet the people, learn from the best.
I get
You see
it,
what
but
the
there's a
schedule-
lot of people that took it thinking that, hey, I'm
Hold
gonna have a half hour with Jay Leno to work on my material.
that's-
a lot of people didn't even get the chance to go on stage and work with Leno and Carolla.
Well, hold on.
Right?
They weren't promised to go on stage to work
But
with
if I'm
Leno
paying
Brown.
$5,000, I would at least think that I'm going to sit
Hey.
there with Carolla for 15 minutes
you-
and have him critique my set.
At Rock Camp, you're not going to sit with Roger Daltrey for 15 minutes.
But
You're gonna
that's
be
a
in a
band. That's a band of people
Listen.
that like 5 people jamming out. Comedian is one person doing jokes.
Doug, when people called, I explained them everything. When you show me a letter and say 15 spots,
Well,
then
that's what
then-
I was told. That the advertisements
Well,
were
he
15
told you.
spots left.
What about the lady who wrote in the Hollywood Reporter, I would pay double? What about the 50% of people that came back who are doing gigs now?
I understand the Hollywood.
What about they're doing gigs now? Who are doing who are starting to? People thank me. They're doing gigs. They're doing podcasts. They had such great experiences. They're
I'm sure
coming
a lot
back.
of people had a great experience.
So-
There's also people that thought it was a ripoff.
Okay, wait a minute. If you felt it was a ripoff after one day, leave. You can get your money back.
Did
If
you give the money back if they left
they
after
would,
a day?
if they wanted to leave, I would have given back their money.
Yeah.
No one left. They ate the food. They met all the stars. They went through all the shows. They ate the meals. And they performed at the Improv. You saw. I showed you the pictures.
I mean, the
last
Hollywood
day.
Reporter said, like, unlike playing in a band or for a team, comedy isn't a group activity. Most of the 4 days are spent listening to lectures.
Yeah.
We crowd into a small theater, try to grab seats where we can see because the
Right.
columns are obstructing the view.
Well, that-
it's
you
less
know,
like
that
comedy
comedy
camp
room.
and more like a learning annex, they would say.
Okay, so it was a learning experience. But then why don't you quote the other quote? The other quote was where a lady says, I would pay double for this experience.
Double. She would pay 10 grand for this experience?
Hold on, she writes here, page 64. But hold on, this is what when everyone called, I promised these people, and you talk about 1 or 2 people that are troublemakers that want to complain. If they're wannabes, hold on, let's pull the article out. I'll leave you the article.
All right.
Okay, hold on. Okay, Carolla. It's not a group of tips. Okay, here. A lady quotes at the end, and she says, Carolla, Pattis, hold on. She said, I would pay double for this experience. I would pay double. Anyway, she writes it here. I pay double. These people, so many people had such an amazing experience. Now, I'm not telling you that there aren't people that are unsatisfied. How many people go to a rock show
Sure.
and they say
There's
they're
always
unhappy?
a customer complaint.
I went to see. You want to talk about a ripoff? I went to see. I watched the roast.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady roast. Nikki Glaser to me was unbelievable.
She was great. Yeah.
I turned to my wife. I said, she's working Saturday night, the Palladium. Nikki Glaser, Palladium, 9:30 show. I buy tickets.
Right.
I show up to the Palladium. Nikki Glaser comes out at 10:40. Okay, I sat there because I wasn't sure if it was 9:30, 10:30.
Right.
She comes out at 10:40 and she says, I want to read you the jokes I didn't do. She gives you 5 jokes. And let me just do a great comic. Okay, fine. Then she comes back out and says, I got another comic. 5 comics later, she left the stage. And she didn't do any of her routine.
So you were disappointed.
That was very disappointing.
Yeah.
I was upset.
All right.
And I felt bad. The guy in front of me, he had a seat that was a wood, and he fell on his ass. Poor guy had a date.
Yeah.
So that, to me, is a ripoff. I promise you that you're going to hear from Jay Leno. Jay Leno wasn't going to talk to 75 people. If you think that's in your mind, that it's, I always tell people, it's not rent a rock star. You don't rent Jay Leno.
No.
Jay Leno, it's not rent
but
Adam
Carolla.
Carolla.
But Leno only gives critiques to a few comics that get to go up on stage with them.
So,
right?
so whoever signed up, and
But
with the list.
how did you pick, like, if 5 people were able to go up there and do their material in front of Leno?
So
How come everyone doesn't get that experience? For $5,000, I would expect to have
you're up
that.
to $3,000. You're going to $5,000.
I'm talking about I'm getting the VIP dinner. I'm getting everything.
That's even $3,000. You don't get to perform one-on-one with Jay Leno. Jay Leno gets a $250,000 to a show.
Everyone in the camp should. I mean, it's being pitched.
Carolyn
that way.
Ray, no, it wasn't pitched that way. Carolyn
You
Ray.
have Leno on the poster. Carolla. Where's Carolla? He didn't even show up for like half the weekend. He had shows booked in San Francisco.
He performed. He came 2 days.
So
we're not promising.
Carolla's a
You're
partner with
getting
you
wrong.
on this?
Yeah, hold on.
Is he a partner with you on this?
Carolla's a partner, but you're getting it wrong. This is not you sleep with the rock star. This
didn't
is
say you're
not
sleeping
rent
with
a
anyone.
rock star. This is an event where
I'm
you,
just saying.
you're
I'm just saying. The weekend of the first camp, Carolla is doing shows in San Francisco. Okay.
Adam came. Adam was amazing. He was there on Friday. He was there. He sat for 4 hours through all those people's
He should have been there
performances.
every fucking day.
No, how's it,
He
Doug?
should have been.
Doug, your philosophy of what it should be or what it could be. I've been running these camps for
You
years.
have 70 to 80 people that are paying $3 to $5,000. You guys
Right.
are making a killing. He should be there for the 3-4 days.
I'm sorry. I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you.
all
I
right.
think I don't. I promise.
And
you,
then it says that he's going to host the final showcase.
And he did.
He did not. He sat on the side
He
table
sat-
with Alonzo.
Okay.
You had
Listen.
Mike August hosting it. I saw. A
Right.
clip. Why is an agent hosting the comedy show?
Oh, an agent hosting a comedy. I
But,
can't. I
why,
can't disagree.
but like, why not have a comedian do it? He's an agent.
Listen, you're gonna.
Why is he
literal-
hosting a comedy show?
You're being literal about everything. I gave a great experience. I'm proud of the experience I did.
I'm sure you
and
are.
Lamont, would 50% of the people return the second time if I didn't give that experience? Because you get one asshole or 2 assholes.
I mean,
and then
is
but
it
hold on.
50% or is it less than that? Did you have a
50%
big
showed up.
fallout the second camp?
No, not at all.
I know there was one woman I talked to at the
Yeah.
Improv,
Yeah.
and she said this was her second time taking it.
Yeah.
She said she came back pretty much just to hang with the people. So,
Okay. So
I give her that. I give
did
her
I
that.
squeeze her arm to come back?
No.
She came back because she loved the experience.
Yeah, either that or she's lonely.
Oh well, that's well. Then if she's lonely, she's kind of my camp. Wait,
All right, let's talk
hold
about.
on. We got to talk.
All right,
You're
what?
really misinterpreting
All right,
what
go ahead.
the fantasy camp's about.
I get fantasy. I get it.
Fantasy. This is an experience where I thought what I learned from Jay Leno and what he explained. Leno, he's taught so much that day. Was you're not going to hear that anywhere.
Right.
You're
I heard
not
that he
gonna
just
get-
did a lot of former comedians like materials, like when Rodney said this. Blah blah blah.
No, first of all, I learned. He said to people, "You want to make it in this business, you got to come to California, and you got to come and perform. You keep performing in a club, and you perform in a club. Someone's going to find you. So whether they come to your show,
I heard Rico said he was like, if you find something else to do. If you really
Rico
don't-
is a guy who went on went on Yelp to try to put down Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp. Rico stayed for 4 days. Rico was a terrible comic. He
All right.
sucked. You saw his video. All he did was talk about being gay and his family
He's
gay.
not gay,
He
by the
wasn't
way.
funny. That guy wasn't funny.
Okay,
I
well
mean,
let's
this
talk
guy
about.
needed to.
Let's talk about. I
Hold
also
on. Carol Leifer.
Carol
She-
Leifer, who's selling her books in the corner during the camp. Right
At the
Yeah,
end
there
of
you go.
camp, sure, everyone sells their art, their book. Carol Leifer gave these people information that they'll never hear anywhere else.
A lot of it is online they can find. Like Carolla just rehashed his stories about, how he met Kimmel. And
what do you want him to do? Be up there naked? I mean, I don't get it.
No, I don't want that. I don't want to see that.
Like you got one asshole. You got two
for that,
assholes.
I want to pay nothing.
But why do you hold on. If you don't like it, then leave.
Then leave. But you don't know refund. No refund.
If you left after the first day, I'll give you a refund.
Would you?
Yeah, sure, 100%.
All right.
If you would be there, Jay Leno came on Saturday. If you left on Thursday and said, I want to go, I'd give you a refund.
Okay.
If you left Friday, I'd give you a refund. You hang out, and then
partial refund or what?
Whatever, I'll give you a refund. I've never. Let me tell you. So hold on.
Yeah.
And then you perform. You're there Sunday. You stay for 4 days. You eat the food. You're unhappy. Fucking should have left on Thursday or Friday.
All right.
So that's bullshit.
I get it. I also interviewed camper Sean Ridgeway.
Okay.
Sean is a comedy writer.
Right.
He is not a comedian, but he has dabbled in it, and he received this camp as a gift from his wife.
Right.
A gift. So he went, and his whole thing was that he was really interested in the writer's workshop.
Okay.
And that never happened apparently with him.
So what happened with the writing? Let's talk about the writing. The one mistake I did was I gave them too many stars, too much time. The second camp, I brought down and gave more writing and more mentor.
All right, so you improved on the second camp.
Well, I improved. I heard what the people wanted,
right?
So I was able to give them.
Yeah.
But I gave them, for a guy like that, he had writers. Look at the writers I had.
But there was no writing done. There was no writing done during the workshop.
Yeah, there was a little. It wasn't a lot of writing.
Well, I mean, don't you think that's an important part of comedy?
Hold on. I gave him Tracy Katsky, Andy, Linwood Boomer. I gave him the biggest people from David Zucker. Okay,
yeah,
now
make a gun.
So I had a question. Should I have? David Zucker did a thing called script workshop. He took people's scripts. They were able to send in their scripts in advance,
right?
And he would take the script and he would critique it.
All right.
Okay.
And then he sent the notes back.
He sent the notes. In front of the people. So you're telling me that I should maybe get rid of that session and I should have more writing. Listen, I'm the producer.
I understand,
okay?
you're the
and I
producer.
decide. You produce your shows,
Sure,
and you decide what's going to go on that stage,
right?
Whether they like it or not, you're the producer. So I'm making a decision that I'm going to give these people the best movie writers, the best TV writers.
Everyone's
the best,
there, yeah.
I gave them executives, agents, managers. I gave them the best people to learn from.
So let's talk about the $1,000 VIP dinner package that people could have bought. It was an extra $1,000 to have dinner with executives or agents. Mike August was one of them, I guess. Sean Ridgeway attended the VIP dinner, and he said that it was pretty much there was maybe like 50 people that signed up for it or something like that, and it was a bunch of agents sitting around talking to each other. There was music playing in the room; they couldn't hear it, and like pretty much Mike August was talking to someone about football for like 30 minutes, and it's like, what are these? Why are these people meeting agents before they've even picked up the mic to do comedy? What does that do?
No, this was for the writers. Maybe he was a writer.
But there's other comics that
listen. Sean, again, another person. I invited him to come back to the next camp. I know you're gonna find.
Sure,
you're gonna find people that are. It's the first time you do something.
Sure, I get
that.
You
get creative. You do your first show.
Yeah.
You do your first show, but if they stay for 4 days. And they go through the experience and they eat the food.
Well, some of these people have flown out here, so they're not going to go back.
But if they would come to me,
stuck.
If they would come to me in the middle of camp and say I'm unhappy, because I do that rock camp.
Yeah.
I announced it. I announced it to them too. I said, here's the schedule. If you have any issues, come to me early.
Come to you early.
Because let me tell you what happened to rock camp. I put you in a band, Doug, and you don't like the bass player. You don't like the singer. So you're all of a sudden you're gonna have a 4-day bad experience. Well, I'll change it. Don't come to me in 4 days.
Right.
Come to me in advance.
Come to you in advance.
So when you talk about advertising, this is a fantasy camp. I'm not promoting. I'm gonna make your career. And these two individuals, all they were looking to do is for their career advancement. I was looking to teach them, and basically, you're right. For people who, the people who never did comedy, who came to camp, were funnier than these guys.
Well, Sean Ridgeway, his whole set was pretty much roasting the camp experience.
That's okay.
And it went well. I mean, look, it's an inside joke set, and it went well. I mean, I have it here if you want to watch it.
Yeah, listen, that's okay. Listen, I watched the Brady roast.
Right.
I love roasting. To me,
Right.
that's my
Now,
favorite
were you
part.
upset when he went up there and did that?
No,
No?
not at all.
Pretty
I don't
much
get
said the
upset.
writing workshop never happened. There's a 16-year-old kid here, like this, that, like.
Listen, that's what roasts are about.
Yeah.
That's what roasts
But
are about.
he's pretty much bad-mouthing the experience at the show.
Okay, 1 out of 75, 2 out of 75. But
But he did pretty well.
What? He did good, yeah.
He did well.
So he got to perform, and
But he
got
didn't
to
have
learn.
the writing workshop. And then you said you said that he could come back to do the writing workshop for the second one.
Right.
And I guess you never reached out to him to do it or whatever. I don't know.
Well, he's got to reach out to me. But David
all right.
Zucker, you learned from the best writers. Come on, Tracy Katz and Linda Boomer. These amazing writers.
Now there was also
Kevin Hench.
There was also supposed to be notes that the performers got after their showcase. And Sean said that he did get his notes, but they said that they were not going to send them out to the campers because they were mostly negative notes.
Okay, so I didn't. That was a decision I made. I said if they want their notes, I gave it to them. I didn't want to hurt people. I didn't want to hurt their feelings.
But don't you think that they deserve to know what
Yeah.
Carolla and
So when
Alonso
they asked-
thought of their set?
So when they
That
asked-
automatically they should get that as part of the $3,000 to $5,000 package.
I give everyone a video, and I didn't give everyone. But you know what? Everyone who asked, they got it, and half of the people asked, and
But
we
you
sent
should
it
have
to
sent that out automatically with the video.
Doug,
no?
you could say that. I didn't want to hurt everyone's feelings.
This is
If
Hollywood.
they were
It's
what?
Hollywood. You're supposed to hurt people's feelings.
Well, I don't believe in that.
I don't
I
know
try
about
not
that.
to. I'm, you know, I come from the good guy image.
I know. All right. So, but then Carolla on his show, he's kind of making fun of these people on his podcast.
Okay, so
afterwards,
let
which-
me ask you
which
something.
is
Let's
funny,
talk about
you know?
that.
Yeah.
Okay, so if he made fun of them and he didn't think they were that funny, so there's your critic. So he's a comic to a comic, and he thought they sucked.
I get
okay?
it, but he's also a producer in this thing with you.
So what? But you're telling me. So you're speaking out of both sides of your mouth. You say, David, why didn't you tell them they suck? Why didn't you tell them they suck? But don't tell them they suck.
But
you
these
know?
people,
But he told them what they felt.
Carolla went up there and was like, these people, wasted their first minute, doing whatever,
Right.
complaining or whatever they were
So
doing.
you know what he learned? The second camp, that first show sucked. They were terrible. These guys.
It's
we
a
told them 3 minutes.
It's a 3-hour show, David.
We told them
it's gonna suck.
So hold on. We told them 3 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to do 4 or 5. So we let them do the
3
4 or
minutes
5.
is enough. I agree.
Okay.
for
So
anyone.
this guy does 4 minutes and no laughs. At the second camp, we made sure to tell him that the key is not to do 5 minutes or 4 minutes, but do your best material.
Do the best material. Yeah.
And that show was amazing. Carolyn hosted it.
I saw some. I was at the Improv for that show.
Okay.
I went in and saw about a half hour of
Did
it.
you see it? Was it good?
I did see it. I would say the what I remember of it, there was a guy that went up and he froze for a minute and didn't say anything.
Okay.
And he stood there and was like,
But look at
And
that.
then you had Caroline Ray yelling off to the side, "Do you want your notes? Come on, you can do it!" Like,
Right.
And I'm like, this guy specifically should have taken a public speaking course at the local college or something, and he's freezing on
We're
stage.
a
and doesn't know.
fantasy camp for 4
The fantasy is
days.
having a heart attack on
Yeah,
stage.
so
That's
what?
he's
But that's what he wanted to have that experience.
All right.
He came to the camp to want that experience.
doing. Right.
And that's the bottom line. I'm not Growlings. I'm not a school. I'm not Emerson College. You're there for 12 months,
Right.
and you're going to 4 years to learn this. I'm going to give you in 4 days. You're going to meet the greatest people, and you're going to hear what they have to say. You can ask them questions about it. I thought Jay Leno's advice was great. I thought he gave a comic what his opening line should be, and all you have to do is sign up and ask our head counselor. And the bottom line is they had opportunities, and I'm telling you, every day I get an email. When are you doing again? When are you doing again? When are you doing again?
Yeah.
So always,
There's another thing on Reddit here. Patrick Welsh says the Comedy Fantasy Camp. What a rip-off this fantasy was for so many of us. The fact that David originally stated this was limited to 15 people and there were over 70 makes it fraudulent. The fact that Carolla was supposed to MC our final show and he didn't makes this fraudulent. The fact people paid extra money for a pointless dinner makes this fraudulent. The fact David promises he made it were not kept, this is fraudulent. There was no personal interaction, no worthwhile advice or teaching. Sorry, any person could have acquired the info we were given online with little effort.
Again, you're gonna get a few people that want to make it their career. It's not if they came there for their career, that's not what it was about. And I'm sorry if they
But
realize
people keep saying that the 15 camp seats are almost
the 50
full.
camps. The letter was I sent the letter out a month before. It said there are 15 spots left.
Yeah, but someone's saying in quotes the 15 camp seats are almost full. Now you can interpret that in different ways, like 15
I
left,
didn't be,
or there's
hey,
15 total.
I didn't think my assistant right. No,
Well,
no,
you
not
gotta
15.
you got to be careful with that verbiage.
Okay.
Because
I'll be
I
careful.
do think if someone gets that email, and I'm not saying like a lot of us would be like, okay, yeah, all right.
If there are 15 left and you
left,
bought
maybe.
one,
But
you bought one,
but
so
for
there
that
should be
price,
14
but
left.
for that price, some people might be like, "Hey, that sounds awesome! 15 people with Carolla, Leno, and Caroline Ray, whoever."
Hey, my
you know?
bill at the Rosal Hotel was over $35,000.
Yeah,
Okay, how many? So divide that by 3.
yeah, but you're making
Okay.
a lot of money off this thing. I know. Yeah, come on. I mean, between the
Hold on. Okay, I'm in business to lose money. You know how much money I've lost over the years of camps?
Oh, I'm
Some
sure.
are good, some are bad.
yeah, it's a gamble. Show business is a gamble. Yeah.
You're producing.
Yeah.
You know, you're a producer. You
Well,
know
I
what?
get it.
I know my accountant said to me, "Why am I doing this? Why are you spending your kids' money?" Let me tell you, the bottom line is,
Mm-hmm.
I don't do the camps for money. It's not the greatest thing. I did it because I changed people's lives, and I try to give people a great experience, and I do. I know I give people a great fantasy experience.
We're talking about fantasy camp, but you know what's not a fantasy? BlueChew. That's right, BlueChew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost, and it comes in a chewable form. Yeah, that's right. The process is simple, all right? You just sign up at BlueChew.com. You consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you receive your prescription within days. That's right. It's all done online. That means no visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. None of that, all right? It just shows up in your mailbox, private. You take it inside. You take it with your lady, with your man, whatever you got going on, right? And it's going to improve your sex life, right? Does it work? Don't think you need it? Well, you know what? Try it for free for a month and see. Don't judge it yet. Just try it for free. We all love free things. You could be missing out on the best sex of your life. You don't know what you're doing without this BlueChew tablet, okay? So just sign up. And you know what? We've got a special deal for our listeners. You can try BlueChew free when you use our promo code Basshole at checkout. That's right. You just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code Basshole to receive your first month free. And you visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank BlueChew for sponsoring the podcast. And now, let's go back to David Fishoff talking about his comedy fantasy camp. A fantasy experience, exactly. Now, there's also, you have a spouse package where you can bring your spouse for $900. Why are you charging for someone to bring their spouse?
If you want to go through the entire experience, and I
$900
gotta
for
feed
someone
you-
to tag along that's not even
Doug,
interested in
that's
it?
what I charge for the rock camp.
Photo package, $500.
Okay, to get
A lot of people got those photos and they didn't even pay for it, apparently. They just sent them out to everyone. That's what I heard.
I don't know how that happened.
So if like one or two people buy it and then everyone gets it for free, like
I
a lot of
don't-
those
I
people
can't
might feel
believe
ripped
that
off.
happened.
The people that paid for it,
I don't
sound
believe
like they
that.
got ripped
Yeah, I
off,
don't believe
you know?
that. I can't. I give them the video for free. I just took what I do for rock and roll.
Right.
Try to do it again. You don't pay. You don't pay people. Every call I took, I explained it. I explained to everybody, 75 to 100 people. That was always my number.
Mm-hmm.
That 15 number is bullshit. That they would read that letter that way.
Don't you
If
think
you
this-
call?
Don't you
if
think
you call? I get calls all the time. How many people are you having? How many people are you having? I tell people all the time. I'm not embarrassed to tell people.
Don't you think the showcase is way too long?
I thought the show. I mean the Sunday.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
People are there for 3 hours, Dave.
Right.
That's a long show to sit through.
Okay.
Even if everyone's doing 3 minutes.
Right.
That's a lot. I mean, don't you think an audience loses their
No.
you
So what we
know-
told people is tell your family when you're gonna be performing, and people don't have to stay. My rock camp shows are 3 hours.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
that's music. That's like
Okay,
people
Doug.
people love a 3 hour music.
You're a
event.
comic full time.
No one wants to watch a 3 hour comedy
You're a
show.
comic
No one.
full time. Okay. This is my first time doing a comedy.
No, I understand
fantasy
that,
camp.
and I know you used to book at the Catskills. And
I
all that
love
stuff.
comedy.
You're
I
a
love
business guy. You're a very successful business guy.
And
music
wait a minute, hold
sports
on.
guy.
I love comedy. I can't play an instrument. I
Yeah,
always
I
wanted
saw
to be
that.
a comic.
I
My
wa- I-
favorite comics are Mal Lawrence, Freddie
Yeah.
Roman, Henny Youngman, Jack Carr. I used to book these guys all the time. I respect comedy.
So
to
you're
get up
comfortable
there,
saying you don't know much about comedy.
I know.
It's fair to
Oh,
say.
I know. I've
But
been
you
in
know
this business a
business.
lot
You know
of
this
years.
rock camp. In your
and I know comics. I used to book
Yeah.
a lot of comics.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Henny Youngman, right?
I booked Youngman. I
Yeah.
booked Rodney. I booked a lot of comics.
Right.
So I know comedy. Do I? You know? And I gave people what, combined with what I know. I brought the best people in to teach these people, and gave them that fantasy to perform at the Improv. And every phone call I took, how many people? I answered every question, and I would tell them. And my biggest thing is, this is not for your career.
Mm-hmm.
Don't come here. A lawyer came. It turns out he represents the Proud
Yeah,
Boys.
it's a fantasy. It's an escape for the people that are.
Yeah, you want to learn
or,
to be a
you know,
podcast.
they want to get away from the.
You could show me
spouse
1,
for the
2,
week.
3, 4,
Yeah.
5 people complain. And listen,
I get
if the
that.
credit card company felt that they were right, and I didn't give they would have given back their money, and that's why people do by credit cards.
Yeah.
I won every dispute.
Yeah.
I showed everything that I did.
Right.
And I think that yes, these people came because they thought for whatever reason that what they thought in their own minds, that's not what I am. And I tell people what I am.
You're a business guy. I get it.
I'm a business guy, but I love. More important, I love to give people their dreams.
You love to give people their dreams.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah.
I love to change.
It's
Not
Hollywood.
their dreams. I love to change people's lives
An experience.
through music and through experiences. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did baseball fantasy camps years ago with
How was that?
Lupinella. I did kids camps and
Kids camps?
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, where you could go play baseball
Oh,
and
the kids. Okay.
yeah, and Lupinella, Bucky Dent, Reggie Jackson, Ron Guidry. I did that in New Jersey. They were fun.
Yeah. Look, I get that. I mean,
know,
like the
how many
sports
people I
and
meet
music,
today
yeah.
who've
I
come
just-
to my music camps and they say to me, well, guys are in bands. I never promote that they're in bands. I got videos coming up. Everyone has an amazing experience.
I just think for
but you
for
can get one or
comedy,
two people.
I think for comedy,
Okay.
I think you need.
So maybe you didn't like the comedy idea. Okay.
Look. I think it is a good idea. I do.
I'm going to sell it as a television series.
I think it's a good idea.
I had many producers
I
come
do
down.
think. I do think for like, the price that's being charged, like it either needs to be like most comedy classes that there are stand-up classes that people take. There's
Yes.
12 to 15 people in it. Okay.
Full-
And then everyone's sitting around in a room like this
Doug,
and
I'm
writing
not-
and getting up and doing
Yeah.
jokes and critiquing and
You
whatever.
can go to songwriting classes. Songwriting.
and yours is a camp. I get
Hold
it.
on, no. You can go to songwriting camps for $500, for $700. There are so many people do those things. There's so many people you can do comedy classes for. I saw a guy who $30 a night. I'm not telling you
You're
you
not a
can't.
class,
But
yeah.
if you want, if I'm giving you the A fantasy
You're
list.
giving the fantasy.
I
get it.
didn't want to do this comedy camp unless
the problem
I could
is
book the
that
comedy.
there's a lot of people that are doing it here that signed up for it and are lumped in with these people that are flying in that have never picked up a
But
mic. So
I wouldn't have gone if I was living here. I wouldn't have wanted to come.
You wouldn't have wanted to do it.
No,
Yeah.
I want the person who wants to go through the experience that we show. Same thing with rock camp. There are a lot of great musicians in town here. Do you know how many amazing musicians?
do you think
and
having
songwriters
different
are?
levels of people, like for the camp, like as far as like this guy's never touched a microphone, this guy's been doing it 2-3 years.
So what I do in rock camp, some people are advanced, some people are less. We talk to them.
How do you do that with comedy though?
So I had them all pre-interviewed. We
Every
did.
student?
Yeah,
70
every
to 80
student was
people?
Yeah. We had Katie Felber who she pre-interviewed everybody that came to that camp. Pre-interviewed what they wanted to learn and what the experience was going to be. We talked to them in advance. We told them everything. They had a pre-interview at rock camp. They get a pre-interview. Yes,
Comedy camp?
Comedy camp. Yeah, a pre-interview.
But there's a lot of people in there that I think that shouldn't have signed up for it. I think that were duped a little bit.
No,
With
they
with
weren't
the
duped.
email or whatever. you know?
No, that email went out a month before camp.
All right.
Okay, hold on. They signed up 3-4 months in advance. That email came a month before camp, and it said that there are 15 spots left.
Right.
Okay, a month before camp.
Month.
A month.
All
Yeah,
right.
here are the details of your camp. Bring these clothes. This is where you're going to perform. By the way, we have 15 spots open.
Open.
Yeah.
See, that to me sounds like, hey, there's going to be 15 people here.
No, there are 15 spots left.
You got to be careful with the verbiage on that, I think. Maybe revisit that. What do you think? Do you plan on doing a comedy camp again?
Yes.
Yeah. What would you change now for the third round?
The way I did the second round, I felt was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I did more writing. I had counselors. I hired people like yourselves, comics, to take a group of 15 people and write with them and create and go over the routines. I spend more time writing, less on the writers, and because I realized you have to separate the two things. I wanted to give, instead of giving the kitchen sink, I would do more specifically. Then I would do a writer's one separately again. More like what David Zucker did, where he took the script and broke it down and things like that.
Right.
But that's really not my interest. I like the comedy. I kept it to 55 people. So it brought 20 people less in. I made the show, like you said, made the show closer. But also got people to perform 2 minutes, 1 minute, 3 minutes. Made sure that they had mentors that told them what do this, do that, do this, do that.
Yeah, I would say I didn't attend the camp, but like the second round seemed a little bit more organized than the first one. I would say.
Come on, the first one's gonna,
get
you're
it.
always gonna wait. Hold on.
But you're
the
still
first guy
charging
who
a
did,
lot for that first.
the
camp,
first
but
guy
then-
who did Coachella,
Yeah.
the first festival, or the first everyone's first. Okay.
Some people were saying this is the Fire Festival of comedy.
Oh, stop it! That one guy, two guys.
All right, I watched the documentary, the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp documentary. Very interesting.
Do you think all those people who all those rock stars who didn't get paid a dime would have said credible things about my organization if they didn't? No one. I thought the things that the rockers said was incredible.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Alice Cooper is quoted here. He says, "David should be in a mental hospital, I think, or he may have escaped from a mental hospital." What do you make of that?
Oh no, he's funny because I'm crazy to do these camps. Yeah, I used to come out dressed. I used to come out in the opening line camps. I came out dressed as Slash. I came out dressed as somebody. I always did funny stuff. Always do.
So you
funny
keep
things.
it entertaining. You keep
totally.
It
It's
going.
camp.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fun. I want you to have a great experience.
No, I get it. Look, when you have Springsteen and the E Street Band for rock camp, I will sign up for that.
Okay. Well, I've had.
I don't even know how to play an instrument.
Nils Lofgren shows up to my first camp. He's
Yeah.
a good friend. And if you go on his website, he will tell you that because of his experience at Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, he's now teaching guitar lessons because he had a great experience.
That's great.
Max Weinberg came to camp and said, "David, here's the check back. Donate it to Roger Dolce's charity."
Nice. I like that. I do like that. I think the comedy thing, though, like, I don't know. I think it's such an individual experience. It's a tough thing to pull off for some of these campers that are here in LA trying to do comedy.
Go to Growlings. I agree with you. They shouldn't. They
So
shouldn't.
I think like weeding some of those people out that do.
But what do I do? I say, okay, I know you want to be a wannabe, and you want to be this. I'm going to throw. I'm not taking you. I don't. How am I the fuck am I supposed to know who these people are? Come on, Doug.
There's another.
Doug.
No, but you'll take their money.
Hold on, Doug. We can. I see why you feel because you're a comic, why it's different, and you're right. It's.
I think I've just seen a lot of schools, and I've been in it a long time doing it,
Right.
and whatever. And I do agree with you. The fantasy part is what's unique and special about this. If I had gotten this as a gift as a high school graduate when I was 18 years old,
Yeah.
I would have been like, wow, yes, awesome,
that's
great.
what-
I don't know anything. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I want to do comedy maybe.
Right.
And I come out to LA and I fuck
Or
around.
Gene
with-
Simmons
yeah.
he says about my camp. He said, if I wish I would have had this 50 years ago.
Sure.
I would
I get
have
that.
made the mistakes.
It's geared towards that kind of person, or the gift from the
or
someone
or even that young
wants to get
comic
away
who
from-
wants to not make and doesn't want to make a mistake in their career and talk to Carolla or to talk to I went to hear a guy talk last night. He sold his business for $500 million. My first question was, tell me the mistakes you made that I don't want to make in my business.
Right.
So I think that to be able to get access to writers, to get access to people, to get advice, to me, that's what I loved. I loved it. For those people, they're coming from a different reason.
Sure.
His mother came, and she was funnier than most people.
There you
Her
go.
her
Naturally
lines
fun.
were funnier. Some of these people were funnier. You saw that Rico's performance. Come on, the guy's terrible. You didn't get one laugh.
Well, I mean, Sean was funny. I thought that
Sean was funny, yeah.
was very funny,
But Rico
yeah.
wasn't funny. So he needs more than he shouldn't be going to a fantasy camp. He should be going to a place to learn how to write and to learn how to go to Groundlings, go to school for a year.
Groundlings is sketch and improv, so that's
whatever.
Totally
I don't know. Is there a comedy place where you can?
I mean,
go
there's tons of teachers that teach comedy that are very reputable. Yeah.
right, but but there's no school like it.
Not a school, I would say. But, yeah, but
Hey,
it
let me
can't-
tell you, I brought the Monkees back in '86.
Absolutely.
People laughed
You're
at me.
very well
Hold on,
accomplished.
Dirty Dancing. Who would take a movie and make that into a live worldwide tour?
Mm.
I like to try things that are creative.
Right.
And Ringo's All Star Band. No one ever did that before, and
No,
he's still touring.
Ringo Starr, you brought him back.
Hold on,
That's-
33 years he's touring. God bless him. He should tour to 150. The bottom line is, whoever thought an idea would work? Everyone has always told me, oh, it's never going to work, never going to work. You take chances. I've had losses too. I did Mortal
Sure.
Kombat as a live tour, whereas Ninja Turtles did well and Mortal Kombat didn't do well.
Right.
We're producers. We take chances.
You got to take chances. It's Hollywood and it's show business, and I get that. You were able to come to my show, Basshole, at the
Yeah.
Improv. Did you have fun? Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it a lot. I
Yeah.
just got to stay longer because it's late at
I
night.
know, yes, it went-
and I
it
had
went a
gone
little
to the
long.
show earlier.
Yeah.
And I was alone. No one, my family, my wife promised me she was going to come with me that night. She didn't come. So I was sitting there alone the first show, but I will definitely come back.
Yeah. Did
Yeah, I
you
like
pay,
that. I
did
like
you
that.
pay for your ticket?
No, it's on the guest list.
I know. You didn't ask me for a comp ticket. You went above me and
Well, I
got a
didn't-
comp.
no.
You should have asked me.
Can I tell you something? No, I asked what's her name. I called Rita
I
to
know.
ask if I come to the earlier show because
Yeah.
I wanted to see a couple comics there.
But here's my thing. Like, if you would have asked me for a comp ticket, yes, I would have given you 3, 4, whatever. But like,
No, Rita,
$15 ticket. You said you're supporting comics and dreams and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm my fledgling little show. You couldn't have bought a $15 ticket to come see my show. Come on.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
No, I don't want it. No, it's too late. It's too late. It's too late.
Hold on.
It's too
hold
late.
on.
That's all I'm saying.
Hold on.
I know who paid and who didn't.
I'm a big.
I would have totally given you a free ticket.
Can I just tell you? No, when I told them I want to stay for your show, Rita said they called me back and said, David, we have you down for both shows. Oh, I didn't know.
All right. David Fishoff, you're also known as the Jewish Santa Claus that took the yarmulke to the next level. Someone said that in the documentary.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. You're a man. You're a man of business, intrigue, success. The comedy camp. I mean, the rock camp. Awesome idea. Obviously, it's
I'm
been
a
successful.
passionate person. I
You
love
really
passion.
are. You really are.
You gotta have passion.
You gotta have passion.
And I love to do things that are new and fresh and give people opportunities and I introduce a lot of shows. So I'm sorry that these people aren't happy. Again, if they would have left after the first day, second day, I wouldn't know how to argue.
You would have given.
Yeah. But once you meet Jay Leno,
Right.
and once you meet and you start performing at the Improv, I just you can't. It's like going to. It's like you went to the whole show. If I would have walked out of Nikki Glazer, but I didn't know. If I would have walked out after 5 minutes and it's not the show. Again, I don't
Right.
care. People make mistakes too.
Look, it's show business. There's risks taken.
Right.
You're doing something that's
How
different.
many movies you go to? Okay, so you asked me why I did the movie. I did the movie because how many times I'm pissed of watching a trailer and then I go see the movie and get so pissed off that the trailer's awesome. My movie is better than my trailer will ever be, So it's show business.
It's show business. It is show business, and you're putting yourself out there as you always have, and you're a success. So it's
and I came on this show because I felt it was really important to to defend Jay, Adam, the comedy camp, myself, and I just thought it was really important.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is the Basshole podcast, and guests usually end the show by just a little story, a time that they may have been an asshole. Is there a time that you want to share that you may have been an asshole in your life?
Oh wow, I didn't come prepared for that.
No one does.
Wow. Wow. Obviously,
Usually, it's the first thing that comes to your head.
Really? Oh God. I try not to be. I work so hard, and
Yeah,
I really try
we all
to be. Wow, when was I an asshole? Maybe I didn't get. Oh yeah, I left a guy backstage tickets to a concert, and I left him backstage when I knew the band was going to run.
The band wasn't going to go on?
The band we always made runners.
Backstage.
Yeah, we always in rock and roll we usually leave runners, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I got two good ones.
All right.
Oh, we have we do runners. So right after the last song, every rock band, most rock bands don't stay because it takes 2 hours to get out of an arena.
Right, okay.
So if you don't like somebody, leave them a backstage pass, and then they have a backstage pass, but there's no band there.
So the backstage pass is bullshit.
It's bullshit, right?
Okay, got it.
Right.
But unless you go during the show, is that like?
Yeah, but you can't get there. You
do
can't
it.
get there. You can. Your pass is only good for backstage.
So these people are just waiting to see.
They're waiting
Aerosmith
till
or
now all of a sudden they show up, and all of a sudden the band left.
Right.
And I think I did that once or twice. And then the one other time I think I was an asshole was a guy called me up and he asked me to recommend an investment to a Broadway show. And I told the guy to do it. And I'll never tell anybody to invest in show business,
Right.
buy NVIDIA stock, buy Apple,
Yeah.
And I told the guy, and because I knew the producer, and I couldn't stand this guy, and I said, "Yeah, do it." And he called me a year later. He says, "Dave, I gotta thank you. I made so much money on that show."
What was the show?
It was, that show that they make fun of on Broadway. They're like, it's a comedy show
it's like
of Broadway shows.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I forget the name of it, but yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and the guy invested. And he called me a year later. He said, "Man, I made so much money with that producer, and it was great." And he couldn't stop thanking me. And I,
Right.
So-
You were doing it as a
25 years ago. Yeah.
as like this sucker over here. Yeah.
Is that too good? Is that too good? Asshole jokes?
Those are good asshole
Okay,
stories.
good.
Yeah.
Thanks
All
for
right,
having me,
David
Doug.
Fishoff. Thanks for being on the
Appreciate
show. Comedy Fantasy Camp. Love it, hate it, want to try it. You go to the website. What is it? Rock and Roll Fantasy
Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp. Rockcamp.com.
Rockcamp.com. Check out the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, which is ongoing, and I guess you're going to do another comedy one at some
Yeah.
point. So check it out. If I don't know, read the reviews, decide for yourself. Is it worth $3 to $5 grand? That's up to you. This has been Basshole. Remember, don't be a basshole, but if you are, laugh about it. Ciao.
You've been listening to I'm a Basshole with Doug Bass. Follow us on Instagram at Basshole Show. Think you deserve to be on the show? Email us at contact@bassholeshow.com and visit our website at www.bassholeshow.com and get the latest information. Subscribe on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast fix. And don't miss the full videos on YouTube. Remember, don't be a basshole, but if you are, laugh about it. We'll see you next time.